Did the US government lose track of its aliens? That should be the question on everyone's mind after seeing this. Take a look.
I think probably the most significant shortcomings that I think we need to visit about as well, shortcomings of the Conference Committee agreement that are now being voted on, were the rejection, first of all, of a government-wide review board composed of expert citizens, presidentially appointed and Senate confirmed, to control the process of reviewing the records and recommending to the president what records should be released immediately or postponed, and a requirement as a transparency measure for the government to obtain any recovered UAP material or biological remains that may have been provided to private entities in the past and thereby hidden from Congress and the American people. We are lacking oversight opportunities, and we are not fulfilling our responsibilities.
Now, I know government incompetence is something most of us expect at this point. But as the most powerful government in the world, heck, entity in the world, how do you maybe lose the bodies of aliens, let alone hand them over to private actors and companies without even keeping an inventory of your stock? I really have to wonder how this is not worldwide news, because it shows the incompetence of those in charge in the US government. The US Senate is here telling you that there are things the government is not telling you, and that oversight is required to get to the bottom of this. And not only do they need legislation in order to tell us what they know, there's a strong assumption here that the senators believe the government has lost some of the alien biologicals it has recovered in the past. And they say it so casually, when it is hard to overstate how important this finding would be. Not only would life from outside of this planet exist, forcing us to reimagine our place in the universe, but we would also be finding out that the US government was keeping us in the dark, and likely many other countries, for quite a long time. Not only is this potentially life-changing information, as proof of extraterrestrial aliens would require us to think about our answers and beliefs to some of the most profound and life-changing questions we can ask ourselves, but there also may be potential dangers that could exist just as a result of exposure to the body. Even if these are simply biologics recovered from crashed meteorites, such as single-celled organisms, and not as profound as it would be if we found living beings that had intellect and logic, and can reason beyond mere animal capacity, this finding would likely be the discovery of the century. At the same time, we should be on guard of any discovery or attempt at disclosure by a government. For a long time, governments of the world have been appearing to prep us for something, whether this be the truth of what so many believe we have been seeing when we look up in the sky, that they cannot explain, or their version of the truth they will use to control us. Only time will tell. After all, this knowledge could be used to control the thoughts and minds of billions, and the mere existence of it is enough to challenge our uniqueness in the universe. Furthermore, the decision as to which information to release to the public itself can have a drastic effect on the so-called truth society comes to. At the same time, the hysteria of the masses should be feared. Too many times throughout history has profound knowledge blinded men, forced them to turn away, or lead to an indictment of that which it fears. If life on this planet becomes less treasured, less important, less unique, less sacred, I truly fear how the masses will react. One thing is very clear. At this very moment, we as a human race are not ready to become members of a galactic society, if one so exists. Our leaders do not deserve it due to their corruption, incompetence, and petty infighting between themselves over creating a society that serves all. We as pawns in their game do not deserve it for allowing these people to control our lives to such a degree that when they admit they do not know if they lost some alien bodies, the few people aware of such a display of arrogance and ineptitude just shrug their shoulders or are sadly ignored by the rest of society. There's also likely some truth that at this point it is probably best if we don't search too deep. As for all our technical advancements and wonders, at the same time we have no idea what sort of monsters lay in waiting within the vast darkness of space.